My name is Mariska Ronteltap. I work for UNESCO-IHE in the Netherlands. We are a water capacity building institute where we train people from all over the world, and we bring them to a master's level in anything related to water. And I particularly work in the field of sanitation. The first time I saw one, I was like, yeah, this is the fantastic way of mapping an entire city and all its wastewater flows and showing from all the people in the city where it's ending up. Because we talk so much about sewers and that they're a good solution, but you never realize that like a big part of it goes somewhere out in the field. Right? So regardless of people having open defecation or having septic tanks or pit latrines that might be leaking, it's also important that it brings also this sewer part in the picture. So in one flow it gives you, or in one overview, it gives you a good summary of what happens with all the wastewater and all the excreta within one city. So that I think is a very, very attractive and informative way of presenting the data. For educational purposes, an SFD is very interesting because it gives you in one overview the situation in the city, and you can zoom in into more detail if you want to know more precise what's happening, but it gives you a very good overview of what is the sanitation situation in the city. Do you need advanced treatment because you have a lot of wastewater being produced, or do you rather have a different kind of treatment? Do you need a fecal sludge treatment plant? What are your resource recovery options? What can you expect in terms of if you have a lot of on-site sanitation? Will it be very liquid sludge? Will it be very solid sludge? So in that sense, it gives you a lot of information that you can straight away use for further research options. When I first introduced these shit flow diagrams in the classroom, they were all excited and they want to see if it's for their city, if there is one already available. Of course, like most of us in the sanitation field, it's like, okay, this is a nice element that gives you a quick overview, and they were also very curious. But we also discussed how much work goes behind it, you know, because it only gives you percentages, but you realize there's a lot of work behind it. So yeah, it raised a lot of curiosity and a lot of interest. Yeah. What I asked recently in my online class on fecal sludge management, we started an online class with different partners, and we had about 15 students from many countries in the virtual classroom. And one of the assignments that they could choose was to not to make an SFD, but to write down which steps they think are needed in order to create one. So, because I think in an online course to make an SFD is a lot of work, and we could try to do it once with the city if I provide the data. But for them, I wanted to now realize what do you need to do, which steps do you need to go through. And now that I'm here in the SuSanA meeting, I realize that there's a super nice manual that you can work out step by step. But still, for the students to summarize that would be a nice assignment. But to actually go out and make a complete one, and then also making the data, that will be very difficult in a classroom setting. So you would have to provide data for them, and then they can get to work with that. Perhaps one other element what you could bring into a classroom is, because the number of SFDs from different cities is growing, that you could select 3 or 4 of them and let the students in groups discuss the differences. And maybe let them put on different hats. What would you do if you're the head of the sanitation department of the city? How would you use this diagram? And what would you do if you're the mayor? And what would you do if you're the environmental engineer? How could you use this diagram and turn it into something positive? Or if you were to make an action plan, what would be the first step, the second step that you would undertake in order to turn the red arrows into green arrows, for example?